All right. Yes. Good morning, everyone. So this is the first session for your geography subject module for your GS. Right. Although you may have covered the different subjects, I guess polity is covered, right? History, economy, and IR, international relations. Did you join NCERT classes directly? What about you?
So this is my first class.
First class. What's your name?
Akshay.
Akshay. And yours?
Anubhav.
Anubhav. Okay. All right. So you have done the NCERT classes, right? Both of you? Okay. You may have access. Okay. You can go through the NCERT classes also. Now, in this first session, have you received the lecture plan and all these things?
No, sir, not. I've seen it on the website.
Yes, on portal you may have the access to all these resources. Okay, you can log into your portal, student portal. Now, in this first session, initially we will talk about the overall, about the geography as a subject. Okay, what is geography? Different, let's say, aspects, dimensions of geography as a subject. Then we will try to understand how much weightage is given for this subject in prelims and mains examination, and what is the syllabus that is there in our prelims and mains examination. Thereafter, we will see few questions also, especially this year, prelims 2024 and mains 2024, the nature of questions they have asked from geography. We should be aware about all these questions, right? And thereafter, I will tell you the sources or resources that you need to refer when we study geography as a subject. And then we'll start with the chapter 1. Okay? Yes, come in. So first of all, basic question. We all learn geography up to 10th standard. Yes, what's your name? Abdullah. So all starts with A. Okay. Yes. So we have learned about geography till 10th standard as a part of social sciences. Okay. I want to know from you how many of you did like the geography subject or did not like the geography as a subject. पढ़ लिया है, मार्क्स लेने के लिए पढ़ लिया है ना? ओके. नहीं, बहुत सारे स्टूडेंट्स होते हैं जिनको हिस्ट्री पसंद नहीं आता है, बहुत सारे स्टूडेंट्स होता है उनको ज्योग्राफी पसंद नहीं आता है, कुछ समझ में ही नहीं आता है कहाँ पे क्या चल रहा है, राइट? सी ज्योग्राफी, व्हाट इज ज्योग्राफी? पहले तो हम देखते हैं डेफिनेशन क्या है. ठीक है, तो आप बताइए, आपने 10th स्टैंडर्ड तक ज्योग्राफी पढ़ा है या एनसीईआरटी पढ़ा है, तो व्हाट अबाउट? आई वांट डेफिनेशन गिवन बाय Rancho and not Chatur.
Study of world.
Okay. What about you? Study of world. Okay.
So the analytical study of world, land, water, atmosphere.
Yes. Basically, Earth is our home, our habitat, right? And geography is about the study of Earth's surrounding. Okay, geography is about the study of our surrounding. ठीक है, तो basically Earth is our habitat and we need to study about our habitat. Why? Because we have impact of this habitat on us, our life, our day-to-day life, our lifestyle, or whatever we do. ठीक है, and at the same time we are also having significant imprint on the nature, our surrounding, through our activities, human activities. How they are, let's say, working out this relationship. Basically, geography is study about this relationship. Okay, now if we go in a literal way, okay, if we go about literal way, so what is that? Geography. So it is a Greek word actually, geographia. ठीक है. Basically geo is earth and graphia is study of the earth or earth's surface. That is, we can say that geography. Okay. Now it is, we can say that scientific and interdisciplinary subject. When I say scientific and interdisciplinary, that means geography involves understanding of cause and effect relationship. Okay, if something is happening in our surrounding, let's say the rainfall is happening. So we are observing the rainfall, we are calculating the amount of rainfall, but geography is not limited to it. Rather, it goes beyond and try to understand why so much amount of rainfall happened in this much amount of time. The causing factors. Okay, so cause and effect relationship. That's why here comes the science. So we are applying our scientific mind here. We are trying to understand the nature of law that is there. Along with that, geography is interdisciplinary subject. Why interdisciplinary? ऐसा बोला जाता है ज्योग्राफी ऐसा एक सब्जेक्ट है जिसका एक खुद का आइडेंटिटी तो है ही, बट इट बोरोज फ्रॉम other disciplines also, right? So in the first chapter of 11th standard NCERT you may have seen that diagram जिसमें geography center में लिखा हुआ है and it has been connected to all the disciplines. Have you seen that diagram? ये देखा है 11th standard NCERT फिजिकल ज्योग्राफी क्या लिखा है? फील्ड ऑफ ज्योग्राफी. यू कैन सी दैट हाउ डिफरेंट streams are mentioned. You can see here first geology. Geology is a separate subject, but how it borrows or how geography borrows from geology, it is geomorphology. The study of different landforms and features on the earth's surface, it is geomorphology. Geomorpho, morpho, shape, landforms. Look at this. Meteorology, it is a separate subject, discipline. Climatology. So one aspect we have brought, we can say that borrowed from meteorology. Then hydrology, it is a separate discipline, but we have borrowed it. Oceanography, study of oceans. Pedology, it is a separate discipline, study of soils, and we have taken as soil geography. So different subjects, including you can see here philosophy also. Philosophy का क्या relation है geography में? Geographical thought, the thinkers, they have applied different perspectives to develop geography as a discipline. To develop geography as a discipline. So philosophical aspect is also involved. ठीक है? Then sociology is also there. History is also there. Political science, political geography, geopolitics. Geopolitics, as the name suggests, geopolitics. How geographical features, landforms, locations affects the political decisions. Geopolitics. It is also part of geography. डेमोग्राफी, पॉपुलेशन ज्योग्राफी. इस साल का पेपर देखा है GS1 मेंस एग्जामिनेशन. देयर वाज वन क्वेश्चन इन ज्योग्राफी, डेमोग्राफिक विंटर, है ना? सरप्राइज था बहुत सारे स्टूडेंट्स के लिए. बट कहां से पूछा है? पॉपुलेशन ज्योग्राफी, डेमोग्राफिक विंटर, एंड समहाउ इट वाज रिलेटेड टू करंट डेवलपमेंट्स, करंट एंड कंटेम्पररी डेवलपमेंट्स. So I was telling you how it is interdisciplinary, and when we will learn geography in next 40 sessions, you will come across all these disciplines. ठीक है? तो geography is having its own identity as well as it is borrowing many things from other disciplines, and that makes geography unique and dynamic also. ठीक है? Now coming back to why should we learn geography? Just it is mentioned in our syllabus. That's why. Unless and until we internalize the things, we will not get good marks in this examination. ठीक है, वो 10th 12th स्टैंडर्ड या इवन हमने कॉलेज में जो रट्टा मारना जो बोलते हैं ना, मगअप द थिंग्स, ठीक है, रोट लर्निंग, दैट इज नॉट गोइंग टू हेल्प इन यूपीएससी एग्जामिनेशन. Okay, and geography is that kind of subject when you develop interest, no, you will try to internalize the things and you will try to question the things in your surrounding. ये ऐसा क्यों है? And then you will know the reasons behind them. Why should we learn geography? The first thing I told you that it is about study of our surrounding and we are getting affected because of the nature, it's or we can say laws of nature, the different phenomenon. जैसे कि now the winter is coming in Delhi, ठीक है, तो यहाँ पर बहुत एक्सट्रीम टेम्परेचर्स हो जाता है, ठीक है, तो why such kind of extreme temperatures are observed in Delhi or North Indian Plains region, ठीक है, and in summer we have also extreme heat. So why such kind of annual extremities of heat and we can say that coldness, especially in Delhi and North Indian Plains, in the interiors of the continents, and how it is getting impacted. Okay, for example, because of this, what we have in early mornings during winter, fog formation. सबने देखा है, right? अब ये fog की वजह से क्या होता है? Visibility कम हो जाती है. We can see that the traffic movement, it slows down. Many times the trains, the flights get delayed. It is impacting us, no? So we should study it and try to understand the causing mechanism. We need to understand how it will work out in next 3 months to prediction so that our human activities are least affected. करना है ना ये हमें. Second thing, we are also impacting our surrounding, ठीक है, our human activities. So what we are doing, we are clearing the forest and we are doing the agriculture. We are building cities. We are changing the land use pattern. पहले यहाँ पर forest हुआ करता था, वहाँ पर हमने roads, construction of buildings, all these things we have done. Now it has impacted the environment also. शायद आपने एनसीईआरटी क्लास में हीट आइलैंड इफेक्ट मैम ने बताया होगा आपको. इट इज ऑब्जर्व इन सिटीज ओनली, ठीक है. तो सिटीज में हम देखते हैं कि जब हम सराउंडिंग से रूरल एरिया से सिटीज में आते हैं तो थोड़ा गर्म फील होता है. इट इज वार्म इन सिटीज कंपैरेटिवली. सो दैट इज हीट आइलैंड इफेक्ट, राइट. वी आर गोइंग टू लर्न अबाउट दीज थिंग्स, but I'm telling you how we are changing the environment, right? We are clearing the forest and forests are habitats for wildlife. So there is species extinction because of this, and it is part of nature. It is part of nature. आपको पता होगा एक थ्योरी है कोविड-19 वाला, चाइना का थ्योरी जो है, ठीक है. तो कहां से आया है कोविड? चाइना से आया है, बट कैसे आया है? The most plausible theory is bats, fruit bats. From fruit bats, it entered into pangolins, ठीक है. और pangolins से वो वहां पे क्या है, pangolins का मार्केट है, खाते हैं वहां पे लोग, ठीक है. And then into humans. Basically, human is entering into wild habitat, or basically it is interfering with the wild habitat, and because of that it is getting impacted also in turn. So we should study geography because we are impacting the nature, we are getting in turn impacted by the nature. Now, why geography is added in civil service examination syllabus? ठीक है, वो एक डिसिप्लिन है, उसका BA MA हो जाता, हमें क्यों पढ़ा रहे? When you become a civil servant, what is the use of geography? What is the use of this knowledge? ठीक है, तो उसका यूज क्या करोगे आप? Let's say you are DM, district magistrate of one district in Kerala's Western Ghats. ठीक है, तो how you will use geography? ठीक है, इकोनॉमिक पर्सपेक्टिव से क्या? Okay, so agriculture aspect. Okay, recently what happened in Kerala? Flood is their main, landslide happened, no? Wayanad district landslide happened. So we are going to learn about landslides here, geophysical phenomenon. Geography का part है हमारा mains examination का. And when you will learn that how that particular region is more vulnerable and why it is more vulnerable, you are aware about the causing factors and you will take certain decisions there in your districts that these causing factors should not be there. है ना, आपको पहले से ही पता है. Resources we are going to learn. Okay, so let's say you are posted in one particular resource rich region, district of Odisha. So you are aware about what kind of resources are found there. And you can work on that resource exploration, extraction as well as the welfare of local people there. ठीक है, तो इस तरीके से आपको ये यूजफुल होने वाला है, हर चीज यूजफुल है. ऐसे ही नहीं आपको सिलेबस में रखा हुआ है वो सारी चीज. ओके, नाउ आफ्टर दिस लेट्स से what is the syllabus of geography? क्या सिलेबस है प्रीलिम्स का? Yes, it is physical, social and economic geography of world only this line is mentioned. Okay, this is the syllabus for prelims: physical, social and economic geography. All the disciplines that we have seen वो सारा इसमें included है, physical, social and economic geography. ठीक है, world as well as India. So you can see that it is very abstract. Prelims syllabus is very abstract. We have to interpret in the light of PYQs, previous year questions. So last 20-25 years previous year questions we have to go through them and we have to understand the limit or extent up to which UPSC can go asking questions. हम इस साल का पेपर भी देखेंगे प्रीलिम्स में किस तरीके से क्वेश्चंस आए हुए हैं. ठीक है, so you can see this year's prelims question paper. Briefly we'll see the nature of questions. We will not try to solve them as you are like very new at this time about geography. आपका knowledge level इतना नहीं होगा, but I am going to tell you how to approach geography from these questions. Look at this. Statement 1, statement 2 type. Atmosphere is heated more by incoming solar radiation than by terrestrial radiation. Statement 2. Carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases in the atmosphere are good absorbers of long wave radiation. So we are going to learn about this as a part of global warming, ठीक है, क्लाइमेट चेंज, ज्योग्राफी, क्लाइमेटोलॉजी, ठीक है, इट इज ऑल्सो हैविंग ओवरलैपिंग एस्पेक्ट विथ एनवायरमेंट, ठीक है. एनवायरमेंट इज बेसिकली द सब ब्रांच ऑफ ज्योग्राफी, यू शुड अंडरस्टैंड दिस, ठीक है. एंड it has given a separate weightage. Why? Because in recent times at national and international level there is more consciousness about the environment protection and conservation, and that's why this separate weightage is given in prelims and mains for environment, right? So अब देखिए इसका both statement 1 and statement 2 are correct and statement 2 explains the statement 1. So this has been the new framing since last 2 years, ठीक है, पिछले 2 साल से ये इस तरीके से फ्रेमिंग कर रहा है. इससे पहले भी ऐसे फ्रेमिंग हुआ करता था, बट इट यूज टू बी लाइक assertion, reason. Only difference is this one, assertion and reason. Okay, so what is this? Cause effect. It is the cause and assertion is the effect. This is what geography is. I told you, cause effect relationship. So most important aspect, and the question that you always ask, why, how, ऐसा क्यों हो रहा है in geography, and your concepts will get clear. ठीक है, तो यहां पर भी यही चीज पूछ रहा है. देखिए दूसरा क्वेश्चन भी इसी तरीके से फ्रेम किया हुआ है. ये देखिए, thickness of troposphere at equator is much greater as compared to poles. At equator the heat is transported to great heights by strong convectional current. This is trying to give reason. This is the assertion. Understood? Now look at this question. Which of the following are the correct inferences from isothermal maps of the month of January? It is given in NCERT, these maps, January and June maps. The isotherms, they are drawn on the oceans. ठीक है, तो यहाँ पे देखिए, isotherms deviate to the north over the ocean and to the south over the continents. Now what is there in January? Generally in north hemisphere we talk. ठीक है, तो जनवरी में क्या होता है? विंटर. तो वहां पर ये एक्सप्लेनेशन दिया हुआ है एनसीईआरटी में. Okay, so the questions are from basic NCERT in geography largely. Okay, now look at this. This is the new trend. Which of the following countries are well known for 2 largest cocoa producers in the world? Let's say you do not know about these countries, the factual information, the leading producer of cocoa. But if you know that cocoa plantations are done in equatorial region by clearing the tropical rainforests. This is very clear. We know about this. Cocoa plantations कहाँ पर होता है? Equatorial forest में होता है, वो clear करके. Now I will eliminate. जैसे मैंने ये क्वेश्चन इस साल देखा तो मैंने सोचा कि स्टूडेंट्स ने ऐसे सोचना चाहिए, एलिमिनेट करना. जरूरी नहीं है आपको कंट्रीज का नाम पता हो, but still we can eliminate. How? Look at this. Algeria and Morocco कहां पर लोकेटेड है? डेजर्ट है, ठीक है. बोट्सवाना, नामीबिया कहां पर है? जस्ट नॉर्थ ऑफ साउथ अफ्रीका. मतलब वो इक्वेटर से काफी दूर है, क्योंकि साउथ अफ्रीका से ही ट्रॉपिक ऑफ कैप्रिकॉन जा रहा है. ये एलिमिनेट हो गया. ये मादागास्कर एंड मोजाम्बिक, मादागास्कर के बीच में से जाता है ट्रॉपिक ऑफ कैप्रिकॉन. कौन सा बचता है? ये होता है एलिमिनेशन मेथड. एंड व्हाट आई यूज्ड द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट कॉन्सेप्ट दैट कोकोआ इज द ट्रॉपिकल और इक्वेटोरियल क्रॉप. ठीक है, तो दे आर बेसिकली प्लांटेशन क्रॉप्स and they are done by clearing the tropical rainforests. ये मेरे दिमाग में फिक्स है, तो मैंने क्या किया, उसको अप्लाई किया नॉलेज. दिस इज व्हाट इज एक्सपेक्टेड फ्रॉम यू इन ज्योग्राफी. ओके, सो टू सम एक्सटेंट the specific information is required, but largely in geography, the conceptual clarity and application of those concepts in solving these MCQs, because you will not find direct question from whatever the resources that we are learning. And I would say आप जो मैं डिक्टेशन करके दूंगा और वो चीजें शायद उससे डायरेक्ट प्रीलिम्स में क्वेश्चन ना आए, but indirectly you will be able to solve all questions by applying that knowledge. हाँ, मेंस में डायरेक्ट आएगा, ठीक है, मेंस में आपको डायरेक्ट आएगा, आपको लिखना है उसमें, दैट इज फॉर श्योर. अंडरस्टूड. नाउ इन एडिशन टू दिस there is something important aspect in prelims for geography, and that is mapping. ठीक है, शायद कल आपको मैसेज भी मिला होगा कि आप एक एटलस लेके आइए साथ में. डेली यू हैव टू ब्रिंग वन एटलस इन ज्योग्राफी क्लास. ठीक है, एटलस रीडिंग इज द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट पार्ट फॉर योर प्रीलिम्स प्रिपरेशन. ठीक है, तो उसमें मैं कुछ क्वेश्चंस आपको दिखाता हूं किस तरीके से क्वेश्चंस आते हैं. ये देखिए, look at this. With reference to Himalayan rivers joining the Ganga downstream of Prayagraj from west to east, which one of the following sequence is correct? Now, Ganga river system is major river system in the country. So Ganga and its tributaries, we learn in detail about it. Mapping section. Ganga, Brahmaputra, Godavari, Kaveri, Krishna. So they are the major rivers, right? उनकी tributaries हमें पता होने चाहिए. Now it is asking from west to east, right? Direction we have to remember, and we have to remember the exact locations of all these rivers also. कोई है उत्तर प्रदेश बिहार से? तो बताओ, आंसर तो आना ही चाहिए. आप ही के स्टेट के रिवर सारे? हाँ, घाघरा, गोमती, कोसी, गंडक. गंडक कोसी ना, कोसी इज लास्ट वन इन बिहार. उससे पहले गंडक, फिर उससे पहले गोमती, एंड फिर उससे पहले घाघरा. ठीक है, तो ये सही है, इजी भी है ना. दिस इज स्टैटिक पोर्शन ऑफ योर मैपिंग. तो स्टैटिक पोर्शन कहां से करना है? हमारे एटलस से. ठीक है, अब ये रिवर्स तो एटलस में है, आप ओपन करिए एटलस, आपको दिख जाएगा वहां पर गंगा रिवर सिस्टम, ये सारे रिवर्स मेंशन किए. आई विल टेल यू हाउ टू डू एटलस रीडिंग. लुक एट दिस. अब ये इसी साल इंट्रोड्यूस किया हुआ नया फ्रेमिंग है. इससे पहले बिफोर दिस देयर यूज्ड टू बी ओनली 2 columns in match the pairs. Now this year they introduced 3 columns, especially for geography and history. पहले क्या हुआ करता था? 2 ही कॉलम हुआ करते थे मैच द, अब 3 दिए है. अब इसका एक एडवांटेज है. व्हाट इज द एडवांटेज? एलिमिनेशन मेथड. If we know anything about these 3, that it is not there or it is mismatch, we will eliminate that. And it is always good कि 2 से ज्यादा 3 हो, क्योंकि वो 3 में से एक इंफॉर्मेशन तो हमारे माइंड में हो, 2 में से शायद कम हो पता. जैसे फॉर एग्जाम्पल दिस वन, दिस वी हैड आस्क्ड इन आवर ऑल इंडिया प्रीलिम मॉक टेस्ट, हुंदरू, जो पंचसूत्रा टेस्ट हम लेते हैं प्रीलिम्स से पहले. ठीक है, वी वर एक्सपेक्टिंग, बिकॉज लास्ट 2-3 years दे डिड नॉट आस्क अबाउट द वाटरफॉल्स इन मैपिंग सेक्शन. दिस इज हाउ वी हैव टू प्रेडिक्ट ऑल्सो. कौन सा क्वेश्चन अभी पिछले 5 साल से आया नहीं है मैपिंग सेक्शन से, राइट? एंड दीज आर प्रोमिनेंट वाटरफॉल्स. ऐसा भी नहीं कि मतलब कोई भी पूछ लिया है. दीज आर द प्रोमिनेंट वाटरफॉल्स. सो यू हैव टू एलिमिनेट. जैसे कि एक सिंपल मैं बताता हूं आपको, राइट? दिस धुआंधार फॉल्स, दे आर अक्रॉस नर्मदा रिवर, वी आर अवेयर अबाउट. कहां पे? जबलपुर एरिया. नाउ जबलपुर एरिया इज लिटिल बिट ईस्टर्न पार्ट ऑफ एमपी एंड दिस इज नॉर्थ वेस्टर्न पार्ट ऑफ एमपी. अब मैंने क्या किया, मुझे नहीं पता है एग्जैक्टली और मुझे पता भी नहीं समझो कि नर्मदा पे है, बट आई हैव अप्लाइड द अदर नॉलेज ऑफ मैपिंग एंड आई हैव एलिमिनेटेड दिस। तो ये एडवांटेज है ना हमारे पास। समझो ये था ही नहीं, सिर्फ ये दो होते तो प्रॉब्लम था। गेटिंग दिस? सो this is the advantage, but the disadvantage is this framing, only one, only two, only three, and they continued this year with 14 questions, this type of framing. Last year it was 47, मतलब आधे क्वेश्चंस में यही फ्रेमिंग था, ओनली वन। दैट्स व्हाई इट वाज अ डिजास्टर लास्ट ईयर फॉर मेनी इन प्रीलिम्स एग्जामिनेशन। ठीक है, बट इस साल उन्होंने फिर से चेंज कर दिया पैटर्न। ठीक है, सो यस, यूपीएससी कीप्स ऑन चेंजिंग दैट पैटर्न। नाउ दिस इज स्टैटिक पोर्शन ऑफ योर मैपिंग सेक्शन। नाउ प्लेसेस इन न्यूज, हाउ दे आस्क क्वेश्चंस इन प्लेसेस इन न्यूज, दैट इज your current developments. Look at this. The country in news, reasons for being in the news. Yes, good evening, sorry, good morning everyone, online students. एक स्टूडेंट लिख रहा है प्लीज कंडक्ट MIGP ऑनलाइन। Yes, so you can contact the management. We are providing some solution to those who are not in Delhi. ठीक है, तो ऐसा नहीं कि आपको मिलेगा नहीं। So contact the management, इंक्वायरी ऑफिस में आप इंक्वायरी करिए, आपको एक्सेस दिया जाएगा, आपको एडमिशन दिया जाएगा, ऐसे मत सोचिए। ठीक है, हाँ, what about this one? ये देखिए, countries in news and why, reasons. So largely places in news, they are asked from international perspective. ठीक है, वर्ल्ड मैपिंग से पूछे जाता है। एंड द ट्रेंड इज दे विल आस्क दोज प्लेसेस which are in news because of some kind of conflict or crisis. It can be armed conflict or let's say refugee, let's say crisis is happening there, or we can say that the West Asia न्यूज में है, कॉन्फ्लिक्ट होता है हमेशा, अभी भी न्यूज में है, पैलेस्टाइन इजराइल कॉन्फ्लिक्ट इज गोइंग ऑन, और रशिया यूक्रेन वॉर सिंस लास्ट 2 years. सो यूपीएससी आस्क्ड द यूक्रेन एंड इट्स नेबरिंग कंट्रीज लास्ट ईयर 2023 में, तो ये न्यूज में था। ठीक है, सो दीज कंट्रीज वेर ऑल्सो इन न्यूज फॉर सम रीजन। ये सूडान आप पढ़ते भी होंगे न्यूज़पेपर में, क्यों न्यूज में है सूडान? तो यहां पर क्या है, उनके जो मिलिट्री फोर्सेस है और पैरामिलिट्री फोर्सेस है उनमें ही फाइट चल रहा है। ये देखिए, वॉर बिटवीन कंट्रीज, रेगुलर आर्मी एंड पैलेट्री मूव, रोज न्यूज में आता है, ऑलमोस्ट 1 साल से। तो उन्होंने पूछ लिया, मतलब प्रोमिनेंटली न्यूज में है, मेजर क्राइसिस हो रहा है वहां पर कुछ, तो वो जरूर पूछेंगे। टर्की, वेरी हाई लेवल ऑफ इन्फ्लेशन हैपेंड देयर, मोर देन 100% इन्फ्लेशन था कुछ टाइम पीरियड के लिए। सॉरी, नॉट टर्की, पार्डन मी, अर्जेंटीना, पार्डन मी। ठीक है, अर्जेंटीना में तो उन्होंने पूछ लिया वर्स्ट इकोनॉमिक क्राइसिस, राइट नाउ। टर्की रिसिंडेड इट्स मेंबरशिप ऑफ नाटो, ऐसा तो हुआ नहीं है कुछ, और छोड़ेगा भी नहीं टर्की कभी। ठीक है, टर्की इज दैट कंट्री विच बेसिकली अलाइंस विथ वेस्टर्न वर्ल्ड एज वेल एज अरब वर्ल्ड। ठीक है, तो ये एक उसका एक खासियत है। ठीक है, बट यस, यू शुड नो द डेवलपमेंट्स आई एम टेलिंग यू, एंड दिस इज द वे दे आर आस्किंग द प्लेसेस इन न्यूज। आई कैन शो यू द अदर, you look at this. Sumed pipeline is a strategic route for Persian Gulf oil and natural. अब ये पाइपलाइन न्यूज में था बिकॉज ऑफ सुएज कैनल क्राइसिस। सुएज कैनल जो है 1 हफ्ते के लिए बंद हो चुका था, वहां पर एक शिप अटक गया। ठीक है, एंड दिस सुमेद पाइपलाइन इज बेसिकली बाईपासिंग दैट सुएज कैनल। ठीक है, और वो इजिप्ट में से क्रॉस करके आगे चला जाता है मेडिटेरियन में, पर्शियन गल्फ से, सॉरी रेड सी से। ठीक है, तो सुमेध पाइपलाइन यहां पे देखिए कनेक्ट्स रेड सी. So this is the way they are asking, let's say यहाँ पे देखिए there is instability and worsening security in the Sahel region of Africa. They are asking the reason here. Military coups are happening. Nigeria, पता है आपको, माली, वहां पर ये बहुत ज्यादा क्राइसिस चल रहा है. ठीक है, मिलिट्री coup और होता रहता है. So that's why they are asking. It was in news. ठीक है. So this is the way they are asking questions from mapping section in prelims examination. We'll see the sources also separately. Mains examination syllabus. So mains, we know that it is part of your GS1 paper. And if you see the weightage given consistently since 2017, 100 marks out of 250 geography. 100 marks. It is major weightage. 40% of GS1 is geography. Here in prelims, if you see, on an average 14 to 15 MCQ. Last year rather they asked around 18 to 19 MCQ. इस मतलब इस साल के जो prelims था उसमें 18 से 19 क्वेश्चन ज्योग्राफी के थे. If you consider that places in news as a part of geography, बहुत सारे लोग उसको current affairs बोलते हैं, but I would say it is study of geography. No, you mapping part, it is geography. ठीक है, तो 15 on an average they will ask from geography section. ठीक है, तो yes, what is the syllabus here? Physical geography of it includes India also. Physical geography of world, it includes India also. Second, distribution of key natural resources world and India. So resource distribution. Second, third, location of primary, secondary and tertiary sector industries or activities, we can say. So this is also world as well as India. So factors affecting the location of industries and activities. It can be primary, secondary and tertiary activities, economic activities. Primary economic activities includes your agriculture and allied activities as well as mining. Secondary, it is the manufacturing. Tertiary, it is the service sector. ठीक है, तो ये सारे एक्टिविटीज इसमें पूछे जाएंगे. Then important geophysical phenomenon like earthquake, tsunami, volcanoes, cyclones. This year they asked twisters, tornadoes. Twisters पूछा है इस साल उन्होंने. ठीक है, और they can also ask the cyclones, tropical cyclones. So basically it is geophysical phenomenon. And lastly, changes in critical geographical features like ice caps, polar ice caps, or glaciers, melting of glaciers. Largely it is the climate change, global warming related phenomenon. So impact of climate change and let's say impact of global warming, such kind of phenomenon they will ask as a part of this. This is your main syllabus. So it was expected always that in mains examination, they will give more focus on human and economic geography. And in prelims, they will give more focus on physical geography. And this has been the trend. Like this year, they asked more questions on human geography, demographic winter, migration, regional disparity. ये क्या है? Human and economic geography. But in prelims, I told you the questions just now we discussed. Physical geography, geomorphology, climatology, oceanography, वहां से ज्यादा क्वेश्चंस आते हैं prelims में. Okay, so they focus more on concepts in prelims. Here, largely it is applied in mains examination. Getting this? Now, sources that we need to refer. First of all, the 4 NCRTs, 11th standard, 2 NCRT, 12th standard, 2 NCRTs. 10th standard तक आपका हो चुका है. In NCRT classes, I guess you had covered up to 10th standard. Largely. ठीक है. 11th and 12th standard, when you read these NCRTs, many times you will face difficulties. Why? They are very abstract. है ना? They had tried to include everything without explaining anything. ठीक है. तो here comes the role of faculties, teachers in geography. और दूसरा इंपॉर्टेंट एस्पेक्ट है कि एक मेजर रिसोर्स स्टूडेंट को अच्छा मिलता नहीं है ज्योग्राफी में, स्पेशली फॉर मेंस प्रिपरेशन. ठीक है. तो हम वो क्लासेस में से कवर करेंगे. सेकंड इज योर जीसी लियोंग, जोची लियोंग और जीसी लियोंग जो बुक है आपका. ठीक है. इट इज गुड फॉर बोथ प्रीलिम्स एज वेल एज मेंस एग्जामिनेशन. ठीक है. प्रीलिम्स एज वेल एज मेंस एग्जामिनेशन. अब तक मतलब लास्ट ईयर तक हम स्टूडेंट्स को बोलते थे कि ये बुक सिर्फ प्रीलिम्स के लिए पढ़िए. बट लास्ट ईयर इन मेंस दे आस्क्ड फॉर्मेशन ऑफ फ्यॉर्ड्स. क्या होता है फ्यॉर्ड्स? एनी आइडिया? ये साइलेंट है. Fjords are basically glacial landforms, and this is only mentioned as a word in 11th standard NCERT as a glacial landform. Only word, and we had to write 10 marker in mains examination last year. It is explained a bit or briefly in GC Leong. How they are formed. Glacial landform is separate chapter in GC Leong. जैसे एनसीईआरटी में 11th स्टैंडर्ड में एक ही चैप्टर है लैंडफॉर्म्स एंड देयर इवोल्यूशन. इन दैट चैप्टर दे हैड डिस्कस्ड द रिवराइन लैंडफॉर्म, ग्लेशियल लैंडफॉर्म एंड द एओलियन दैट इज फॉर्म बाय विंड और वेव, दोज विच आर फॉर्म बाय वेव्स एंड दोज विच आर फॉर्म बाय ग्राउंड वाटर. ठीक है. ये देखिए मैं आपका फर्स्ट सेशन है, आई कैन सी योर फेस. ठीक है. बट in next 40 lectures you will be satisfied enough कि हाँ जो हमने फर्स्ट लेक्चर में ये वर्ड्स जो थे they are not unknown to me now. ठीक है. You will understand all these things. So it is given and explained in GC Leong, and that's why we are now asking students to read GC Leong from mains perspectives. ठीक है. Especially landforms. Third important resource that you should refer is we can say that we are going to provide you the classroom notes or classroom dictation also. we will try to cover as many things as possible, especially from mains perspective, जो आपको क्लास में लिखवाने वाली जो चीज है, ठीक है, जो मोस्ट ऑफ द स्टूडेंट्स दे आर मिसिंग आउट इन द मार्केट, ये जो है चीज। अब बहुत सारे स्टूडेंट्स पढ़ते हैं सर, शुड बी रीड लेट्स से DR खुल्लर बुक और माजिद हुसैन, बहुत सारे मतलब आप देखते होगे, बहुत सारे टॉपर्स भी शायद बोलते होगे कि बट दीज आर ज्योग्राफी ऑप्शनल बुक्स, ठीक है। माजिद हुसैन इंडियन ज्योग्राफी, वेरी बिग book that is there for paper 2 in your geography optional, या DR खुल्लर, ठीक है, but they are not of use for your GS I would say. Why? Because कॉस्ट बेनिफिट रेशियो देखिए ना, आप कितना टाइम उसमें डालोगे, इतना सब कुछ पढ़ के आपको कितना बेनिफिट उसमें मिलेगा, दैट इज द प्रॉब्लम। ओके, so student, I would let's say prefer the student atlas, Oxford student atlas, ठीक है। ब्लैक स्वान इज ऑल्सो फाइन, बट एटलस स्टूडेंट सब लोग जो पढ़ रहे हैं आप वो भी पढ़िए, तो दैट इज बेटर एज इट इज कॉम्पिटिटिव एग्जामिनेशन। ऑलमोस्ट 80% सेम थिंग्स आर देयर, ठीक है, दोनों में भी। बट एटलस रीडिंग, हाउ टू डू एटलस रीडिंग, देयर इज वन हाफ एन आवर वीडियो ऑन लुकमान IAS यूट्यूब चैनल, 2 साल पहले मैंने वो लिया हुआ था, ठीक है। तो व्हाट थिंग्स आर टू बी रेड इन ज्योग्राफी मैपिंग, ऐसे अगर आप टाइप करते हैं लुकमान IAS, अगर उसमें टाइप करते हैं तो वो वीडियो मेरा 37 मिनट्स का आ जाएगा। इन दैट व्हाट आई हैव डन इन लास्ट 25 years, what kind of mapping questions UPSC has asked in prelims, I have noted them down and I have given the list, ठीक है। वर्ल्ड मैपिंग से और इंडियन मैपिंग से क्या क्या क्वेश्चंस है, लेक्स, वाटरफॉल्स, रिवर्स, ग्लेशियर्स, पास, माउंटेन पासेस, क्या क्या पूछा हुआ है उन्होंने। मेक दैट लिस्ट विथ योरसेल्फ एंड ऑलवेज कीप दैट व्हेन यू आर डूइंग द एटलस रीडिंग, ठीक है। तो उससे क्या होगा, डेली हाफ एन आवर वी विल डू द एटलस रीडिंग, ठीक है। अगले 40 दिन में हम पूरा एटलस कवर कर लेंगे। जनरली ट्राई टू डू दैट एट नाइट टाइम और इवनिंग टाइम, जब आप दिन भर पढ़ के आप बोर हो जाता है, ठीक है, तो उसके बाद एटलस रीडिंग करना है। नाउ व्हाट टू डू इन एटलस रीडिंग, फॉर हाफ एन आवर सिंपली ऑब्जर्व वन मैप, okay, on left side there is physical North America, on right side political North America. Simply for today only physical North America I will observe, and I will try to see, okay, which, let's say, rivers are flowing there, then its tributaries, mountains, mountain peaks are also mentioned, which is the highest mountain peak we can find out in Rockies mountains. Then I will see that the different, let's say, seas located there, और ये सारे फीचर्स मुझे वहां पर देखने हैं, सिर्फ ऑब्जर्व करिए, एंड यू कैन हैव द हाइलाइटर विथ यू, you can highlight those important features they are mentioned, or river courses into which sea or ocean it is draining, ठीक है। तो ये आपको करना है हाफ एन आवर के लिए डेली, and once all the maps are done we will repeat this activity, we will repeat this activity। current affairs, now from current affairs for prelims, the only important thing is places in news, बाकी ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं है आपको ज्योग्राफी से, बट फॉर मेंस इट्स इंपॉर्टेंट, especially human and economic geography, as well as we can say that geophysical phenomenon, climate change and global warming related processes or phenomena. I will tell you how it is relevant. I will show that to you. Current affairs. Okay, human and economic geography, important geophysical phenomenon, climate change and global warming. तीनों टॉपिक देखिए आपके सिलेबस के है. ठीक है. डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन ऑफ रिसोर्सेज इज स्टैटिक पार्ट, राइट. लोकेशन ऑफ इंडस्ट्रीज लार्जली इट इज स्टैटिक पार्ट. फिजिकल ज्योग्राफी इट इज लार्जली स्टैटिक पार्ट. व्हाट इज डायनामिक? लार्जली इट इज. ठीक है. ह्यूमन ज्योग्राफी में आपको आता है डेमोग्राफिक ज्योग्राफी, सेटलमेंट, अर्बनाइजेशन, इट्स चैलेंजेस, प्रॉब्लम्स, राइट, माइग्रेशन. लार्जली इट इज करंट एंड कंटेम्पररी डेवलपमेंट्स. तो आई विल शो दैट इन दिस ईयर्स क्वेश्चन पेपर. What was the question? Demographic winter, right? What is the meaning of demographic winter? Yes. क्या है? पढ़ा होगा आपने अब तक. So demographic winter is basically general decline in the birth rate. ठीक है. बर्थ रेट डिक्लाइन हो जाता है तो उसको विंटर बोला गया है, डेमोग्राफिक विंटर, राइट. एंड आई विल शो दैट हियर. कहां पर है? न्यूज. अब देखिए यूपीएससी से रिलेटेड तो आते रहेगा अभी सब चीज. ये देखिए यूरोप्स डेमोग्राफिक विंटर एंड न्यू ईयू फिस्कल रूल्स. फाइनेंशियल टाइम्स. ये देखिए इसी साल की न्यूज है और मार्च अप्रैल मई जून उस टाइम की न्यूज है. इटलीज बर्थ ड्रॉप्स टू हिस्टोरिकल लो. इटली स्पेशली बहुत ज्यादा न्यूज में है. इट्स एजिंग पॉपुलेशन इज वेरी हाई एंड बर्थ रेट इज वेरी लो. एंड मोस्ट ऑफ द यूरोपियन कंट्रीज आर फेसिंग दिस प्रॉब्लम. एंड दैट्स व्हाई द सेकंड पार्ट ऑफ दिस ईयर्स क्वेश्चन वाज whether there is any similar trend observed in recent times all over the world. ऐसा क्वेश्चन था तो we had to agree with this and this trend is observed in the developed countries, western world. ठीक है. तो यहाँ पे देखिए आप मैक्सिमम न्यूज. बट अब ये टर्म ऐसा उन्होंने पूछा है ना तो उससे थोड़ा सा बहुत सारे स्टूडेंट ने एजिंग पॉपुलेशन इंटरप्रेट किया है, कई स्टूडेंट ने बर्थ रेट ड्रॉप. सो समहाउ इट इज कोरिलेटेड. दैट इज फाइन. नाउ दूसरा एक क्वेश्चन था. क्या था वो? ट्विस्टर्स. ये कौन से मूवीज का दिखा रहे हैं? ठीक है. Multiple twisters were reported. Why twisters targeted United States 1 month ago? कहां से दिख रहा है? Twisters. This year, unusually large number of tornadoes were observed in that Gulf of Florida region, जो साउथ ईस्टर्न पार्ट है ना यूएस का. इसलिए उन्होंने सेकंड पार्ट ऑफ क्वेश्चन में ये भी पूछ लिया कि व्हाई मोर नंबर ऑफ ट्विस्टर्स आर ऑब्जर्व इन दैट रीजन. तो ये कहीं ना कहीं करंट से रिलेटेड है कि नहीं है? डेवलपमेंट्स. गेटिंग दिस? पहला ही क्वेश्चन, वार्मिंग ऑफ सी टेम्परेचर 11th March 2024. Warming up to the climate. Why do global sea surface temperature matter? क्या पूछा है इन्होंने यूपीएससी में? What is sea surface temperature rise? Question mark. In second part, how it affects the cyclone formation. How it affects the cyclone formation. अब जिसने ये इंडियन एक्सप्रेस का आर्टिकल पढ़ा है उसमें यहां पर लिखा हुआ है हाउ इट इज गोइंग टू अफेक्ट द साइक्लोन फॉर्मेशन. ठीक है, ये पेड़ है, यहां पर नीचे एक्सप्लेन किया हुआ है हाउ इंक्रीज इन टेम्परेचर्स लीड्स टू इंक्रीज इन फ्रीक्वेंसी एंड इंटेंसिटी ऑफ साइक्लोन्स इन ट्रॉपिकल ओशंस लाइक इंडियन ओशन. क्या होता है? इंक्रीज इन इंटेंसिटी एज वेल एज फ्रीक्वेंसी, more number of cyclones and stronger cyclones can be observed when there are warmer sea surface temperatures. It is well explained in this article. And such kind of phenomenon is observed in Arabian Sea in recent times. कई सारे reports news में होते हैं इससे related. तो it is related to climate change and global warming. तो मैंने तीनों एग्जाम्पल बताया आपको लिंक करके, इसी साल के क्वेश्चंस, कैसे वो करंट डेवलपमेंट से आपको तैयारी करनी है उसकी. अंडरस्टूड? ओके, एंड वी विल ट्राई टू कवर दैट इन आवर करंट अफेयर्स क्लासेस एंड आई विल आल्सो डिस्कस मेनी ऑफ दीज टॉपिक्स इन द क्लासरूम इटसेल्फ. ठीक है, तो करंट अफेयर्स तो कहां से पढ़ना है इसको आपको? डेली न्यूज़पेपर शुरू कर दिया है. कौन सा? हिंदू? समझ में आ रहा है? व्हाट अबाउट यू? नहीं किया है? 25 का अटेम्प्ट देना है? 26, 28? बहुत टाइम है आपके पास. ठीक है, नो प्रॉब्लम. सो न्यूज़पेपर, देयर आफ्टर very important I would say is try to refer to Down to Earth magazine, or you can visit the website frequently. ठीक है, हफ्ते में एक दो बार आप इंपॉर्टेंट आर्टिकल्स पढ़ लिए, उसमें से इनपुट लीजिए. Down to Earth. Okay, so here the geography, environment, science and tech related articles will be there, and they are, let's say, providing very good data, especially, है ना, रिपोर्ट्स होता है, डेटा होता है काफी अच्छा, जो हम इन क्वेश्चंस में आंसर्स में लिख सकते हैं. ठीक है, करंट अफेयर्स में. सो न्यूज़पेपर, डीटी, एंड देन वी आर आल्सो प्रोवाइड यू, लेट्स से, providing you DTRS classes are there, magazine is there for MCQs practice on current affairs. Then we are having now from next month onwards Lukman bulletin lectures for current affairs and the material. ठीक है, तो ये सारा मटेरियल आपको काफी हेल्पफुल है. All right, so any doubt related to sources? Is it clear? So what is our responsibility when I am teaching you daily? You should be also simultaneously reading NCERTs, ताकि आपके जो डाउट्स है वो आप क्लास में पूछ लें, and it should be very clear. So at the end of our sessions you should be thorough with your first two sources, NCERT and GCLEO. ठीक है? Okay, now let's start with the first chapter. Origin of the earth, or origin of the universe, our solar system and our earth. Okay, see, when I'm, let's say, taking the classes, generally I tell students that you don't write in the classroom. When I am giving dictation, we'll write all these things, because geography is about more learning the things and concepts. जब हम पढ़ते हैं तो साइमल्टेनियसली लिखने की वजह से आप डिस्ट्रैक्ट हो जाते हैं, राइट. सो यू नीड टू फर्स्ट कॉन्सेंट्रेट हियर. हम फर्स्ट हाफ में पढ़ाएंगे, सेकंड हाफ में हम डिक्टेशन कर देंगे. ओके, और विल कीप द रेशियो 60-40, 60% क्लासरूम टीचिंग, 40% क्लासरूम डिक्टेशन, इस तरीके से. ओके, सो origin of the earth. So there are many, let's say, theories explaining origin of the earth, and we can divide them as early theories and modern theories. Okay, and within that, in early theories, we'll learn about three theories: gaseous hypothesis, by Immanuel Kant, given in 1755. Second, nebular hypothesis, which is basically the improvement over gaseous hypothesis of Kant, given by mathematician Laplace in 1795 or 96. Third, the planetesimal hypothesis, given by Chamberlain and Moulton in 1900. These are the early theories, and in modern theory, the major theory we will learn is Big Bang theory, right? So first one is gaseous hypothesis, given by Immanuel Kant. So according to this hypothesis, as the name suggests, initially there was a large gaseous cloud in the space having the gases and dust. Okay, it was stationary earlier, but due to the gravitational force, it started moving around itself and took a momentum. And because of that, the temperature also started increasing, and this resulted into the formation of a nebula. Okay. Nebula, what is nebula? Nebula is basically gaseous cloud only, having the gases like hydrogen, helium, and the dust particles. Many times this nebula is visible in the space when the light is reflected from these dust particles and gases. अलग अलग कलर में दिखता है टेलीस्कोप में, ठीक है. तो दैट इज नेबुला, एंड दिस नेबुला फर्दर got converted into stars and the planets. This was the first basic simple hypothesis given by gaseous hypothesis theory. ठीक है. अब इसमें कई सारे प्रॉब्लम थे. ठीक है. प्रॉब्लम ये था कि एक्चुअल में जो प्लैनेट्स तैयार हुए, the formation of planets, the planets form in different sizes. Okay, why certain planets are revolving or rotating in certain direction and opposite direction, that is also not explained properly, right? And at the same time there were some limitations which were overcome by this nebular hypothesis by Laplace over this gaseous. So here the nebular hypothesis explains that there was existing nebula itself. अब यहां पर इन्होंने gaseous cloud बोला था तो inert था ना, वो stationary था. So how stationary object can get the motion without any force? ठीक है. तो that was overcome here, nebular hypothesis by Laplace. The same thing he also explained further. Nebula got converted into the star Basically what happens is nebula collapses to form a disk. Okay, nebula collapses. Nebula is a kind of bubble, irregular shaped bubble. It collapses to form a disk, and this disk is basically rotating. जैसे हम पहले कॉम्पैक्ट डिस्क आता था ना, सीडी वॉकमैन वाला, ठीक है, तो वो ऐसे गोल गोल घूमता था, उसी तरीके से ये डिस्क है that is rotating, and at the center of that nebula the star is formed, and the surrounding material is basically accreted. Accretion. What is the process of accretion? The process of accretion means the larger body is attracting the smaller bodies and getting attached to it. Okay, it is getting attached to it, and that's why now it is becoming bigger and bigger. उसको accretion process बोलते हैं. This is how the planets are. So that means the present planets were earlier the dust particles spread or scattered in the space. They got accreted, that means they become the larger bodies, and now we see the planets. Now, next, planetesimal hypothesis. See, UPSC will not ask this even in prelims or mains. ठीक है, ये prelims या mains में नहीं पूछा जाएगा, अब तक नहीं पूछा है, वो आगे भी नहीं पूछेंगे, because this is very basic thing, and at present these theories are not, let's say, widely accepted. Rather, the widely accepted theory is Big Bang theory for origin of universe. ठीक है, तो इसके बारे में नहीं पूछेंगे, वो जो एक्सेप्टेड नहीं है आज के टाइम पे, वो चीज क्यों पूछेंगे, राइट? What about this one? Planetesimal hypothesis. Now, planetesimal, as the name suggests, is basically the smaller bodies which were present in the space. They got larger. But ये planetesimal hypothesis जो है, it is basically the binary star hypothesis. अब देखते हैं यहाँ पर क्या हुआ है और कैसे एक्सप्लेन करते हैं. So, according to this thesis, there was one protosun, and this was, we can say that, the accompanying star ठीक है. So this star in the geological history moved near the protosun, and because of this larger star and its gravitational force, some portion of this protosun got removed from its surface. Gravitational force, as it moved further in this direction, इसका एक cigar shaped मटेरियल जो है सेपरेट हो गया प्रोटोसन से, एंड इट स्टार्टेड रोटेटिंग अराउंड द सन. फर्दर दिस सिगार शेप्ड मटेरियल गॉट कन्वर्टेड इनटू द प्रेजेंट डे 8 planets दैट वी सी. ठीक है, एंड दे आर रोटेटिंग अराउंड दिस प्रोटोसन और द रिमेनिंग सन जो आज का हम देखते हैं स्टार, and this passed away. Okay, so this is the binary star hypothesis, or you should understand कि Chamberlain and Moulton, they are, let's say, of the view that the other star is responsible for formation of our solar system. ठीक है, but all these theories are not, we can say that, largely accepted. Present day, the most accepted theory is Big Bang theory. ठीक है, so according to this theory, what happened? ये पढ़ा है हमने स्कूल में भी। Seven 14.7 billion years ago, there was a huge explosion of one tiny atom called as singularity. एक छोटा सा एटम था, and that atom was basically having infinite, क्या बोलते हैं हम उसको, वो infinite density, it was having infinite density and it exploded violently, and within 3 minutes of this explosion the atoms started to form and some of its energy got converted into mass. Energy mass equation, E is equal to mc square. So some of the energy from this explosion got converted into mass, or we can say the material that we see in the space today. Later on, the temperature decline over the period of time and the universe is continuously expanding. Now, this was basically observed by Edwin Hubble through his telescope in 1920. So, first the observation was done, and in 1950s this theory was proposed by different scientists all over the world, and this was confirmed through different experiments that were done later on, space experiments, कि यूनिवर्स इज एक्सपांडिंग, यूनिवर्स इज एक्सपांडिंग. तो ये है बिग बैंग थियरी, एंड दिस इज द मोस्ट एक्सेप्टेड थियरी दैट वी सी टुडे एज अ एक्सप्लेनेशन फॉर फॉर्मेशन ऑफ यूनिवर्स, आवर सोलर सिस्टम एंड द अर्थ ऑल्सो. ठीक है, तो ये इवोल्यूशन है ना, पहले कोई बोलता है फिर उसको कोई निगेट करता है, या इस तरीके से सारे हम सब्जेक्ट पढ़ते हैं तो ऐसा हम देखते हैं अर्ली थेरीज एंड मॉडर्न थेरीज, राइट. सो दिस इज द लार्जली मोस्ट एक्सेप्टेड थेरी, बट इसका भी एक लिमिटेशन है. व्हाट इज द लिमिटेशन? इस नाम से एक सिटकॉम भी है यूएस में, वेब सीरीज काफी फेमस है, ठीक है, कॉमेडी वेब सीरीज, बिग बैंग थ्योरी. सो क्या है ये लिमिटेशन? इसका एक्सप्लेनेशन काफी अच्छे से दिया जाता है. जैसे कि आप बलून लीजिए, ठीक है, एंड व्हेन यू ब्लो दैट बलून, और बिफोर ब्लोइंग दैट बलून यू कैन मार्क विद द इंक द डॉट्स ऑन द बलून. ओके, now when you blow that balloon, what happens? Balloon, yes, basically its surface is expanding, and because of that what we observe is the distance between the galaxies is also increasing, but at the same time the dots are also expanding, no, but this was not observed in the universe, that the galaxies, they are not expanding. Those dots are basically the galaxies. So the distance between the galaxies is increasing, but the galaxies themselves are not expanding. The galaxies themselves are not expanding. Okay, what are galaxies? They are the clusters of stars. बहुत सारे स्टार्स एक साथ में जुड़े हुए रहते हैं, एंड समहाउ दे आर बेसिकली अटैच टू ईच अदर थ्रू ग्रेविटी. ठीक है, ग्रेविटी, ठीक है. तो इट इज द असेंबलेज ऑफ दो स्टार्स, दैट इज गैलेक्सी. आर गैलेक्सी इज मिल्की वे गैलेक्सी. आर गैलेक्सी इज द मिल्की वे गैलेक्सी, राइट. नाउ देर आर डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ गैलेक्सीज ऑल्सो. ठीक है, ये बहुत कम लोग जानते हैं, या एनसीईआरटी में भी नहीं लिखा हुआ है. कि कैसे ये तैयार होता है गैलेक्सीज। राइट, सो first is spiral galaxies. So spiral galaxies, they look like this, जो हमारा मिल्की वे दिखता है इस तरीके से, है ना। तो सेंटर में कई सारे ऐसे दिखेंगे और ऐसे उसके बैंड्स बने हुए और विंग्स बने हुए, ऐसा हम बोल सकते हैं, स्पाइरल। ओके, so at center there are more number of stars and then there are branches like this, ठीक है, and they are basically rotating in a particular direction. This is spiral galaxy. Now many times these spiral galaxies may collide with each other. These spiral galaxies may collide with each other, ठीक है। जैसे ये expand हो रहा है और distance between them is increasing, they may collide with each other, and because of that there can be formation of elliptical galaxies. So elliptical shape it will take place like this. So now these branches are not there. This is more mature, we can say. It is more mature galaxy, and here the formation of new stars is not happening. And third one is irregular. Irregular galaxies are those galaxies which do not have shape. They do not have shapes. Okay, so these are the types of galaxies, and our Milky Way galaxy is kind of spiral. हमने फोटो भी देखा हुआ है मिल्की वे गैलेक्सी का, इसी तरीके से दिखता है, काइंड ऑफ डिस्क, और इस तरीके से दिखता है, ऐसे रोटेट हो रहा है। राइट, नाउ लेट्स टॉक अबाउट आवर सोलर सिस्टम। तो यूनिवर्स, गैलेक्सीज, देन सोलर सिस्टम, ठीक है। तो वी आर मूविंग फ्रॉम larger aspect to smaller aspects, smaller celestial objects. So formation of our solar system. So galaxies have billions of stars. Our universe has billions of galaxies, and our galaxy has billions of stars, and one of them is our sun. One of them is our sun. Now, sun is made up of gases. Sun is basically made up of gases, or star is made up of largely gases, and it is largely hydrogen and helium. It is largely hydrogen and helium, and hydrogen is basically fusing there to release the energy. So what kind of reaction is happening there? Nuclear fusion. यहाँ पर हाइड्रोजन is fusing to form the helium, and it is releasing huge amount of energy, and that energy is basically reaching into the space in the form of electromagnetic radiations as well as light. ठीक है, लाइट भी है एंड प्लाज्मा पार्टिकल्स भी है, एनर्जी पार्टिकल्स जिसको हम बोलते हैं। Both are basically reaching into the space. They are reaching on the earth also. Like we have radiations as well as light, we can say, in the form of UV light, this ultraviolet radiations that we receive on the earth. ठीक है, तो sun. Now the sun, if you see the structure, of interior, if you see, तो वहां पर क्या है, सन, देयर इज कोर, there is radioactive zone, then there is photosphere, and there is corona, the outer surface. The outer surface is corona. Okay, the core, most of the reaction that is happening is in core, and that energy is coming out to the photosphere. Photosphere से maximum जो है radiations हो रहे हैं. Okay, now ये भी इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं है, आपको ये पूछेंगे नहीं एग्जाम में, ठीक है, बट यू शुड नो दैट द आउटर सरफेस इज कोरोना एंड सम ऑफ द इंपॉर्टेंट लेट्स से फेनोमेनॉन रिलेटेड टू सन एंड सन सरफेस, वी कैन से दैट सन स्पॉट्स. ये आपको एनसीईआरटी में मेंशन किया हुआ है. व्हाट इज सन स्पॉट? Sunspots are the darker areas on the sun's surface. Okay, darker areas. Does that mean that any reaction is not happening in that place? Instead of that, we should think from the other perspective, that is magnetic field. These are the regions of excess magnetic field, or magnetic, we can say that, energy that is produced there. ठीक है, and that actually does not allow the energy to reach on the surface. That's why it becomes the darker one. That's why it becomes the darker. ठीक है, excess magnetic energy, ये हम यूज करेंगे आगे चल के. ठीक है, रिमेंबर दिस कॉन्सेप्ट, sunspots. Now, the more number of sunspots on the sun surface, this will reduce the amount of radiations reaching on the earth surface. क्योंकि ये darker है, so it is emitting less radioactive, we can say that, radiation, simply we can say that. And that's why more number of sunspots, that means less amount of energy received on the earth surface. I'm saying energy in terms of sunlight. I'm not talking about the solar wind or solar storms. Rather, during that time there is more solar storms. Solar storms are related to magnetic field activity or plasma particles, energy particles. ठीक है, तो this is sunspot. Second is solar cycle. Solar cycle is related to, we can say, flipping of magnetic poles, a magnetic field, every 11 years. That means हर 11 साल में वहां पर नॉर्थ पोल साउथ पोल बन जाता है एंड साउथ पोल नॉर्थ पोल बन जाता है, मैग्नेटिक फील्ड, every 11 years. This is called as solar cycle. Okay, and third is solar storm. This year's mains question, क्या क्वेश्चन था? What are aurora borealis and aurora australis? How are they formed? Where they are found and how they are formed? ऐसा क्वेश्चन था इस बार ज्योग्राफी में ही, मेंस में. कैसे तैयार होता है? It is because of strong solar storms which result into strong geomagnetic storms on the earth's surface. in the earth atmosphere and that result into formation of aurora. ये हम चैप्टर 3 में पढ़ेंगे जहां पर हम पढ़ने वाले हैं अर्थ्स मैग्नेटिक फील्ड. But here I will explain what are solar storms. These are basically emission of strong plasma or charged particles from sun's surface. These are solar storms. They are basically energy particles. They are charged particles and they travel across the space and they are so strong that they can remove the atmosphere of the planets also. It has been done in the past. हम ये भी पढ़ेंगे अभी. They can remove the atmosphere of planets completely. They are so strong. Solar storms. Okay, so related concepts. Our solar system. Now our solar system has how many planets? Yes, so we have 8 planets, right? Our solar system. Before that, we'll see formation of planets. Basically, they are formed through process of accretion. So I told you there is formation of disk and the larger material is attracting the smaller material and getting attached to it. This is how the planets are formed. Planets do not have their own source of energy. Stars, they have their own source of energy, but planets do not have own source of energy, right? Now we have 8 planets and from sun to outer side, if we go on listing them, Mercury, Venus, then Earth, then Mars. Fifth one, very good, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune, right? Earlier, before 2006, we included Pluto also. But International Astronomical Union, which is the deciding body, they removed Pluto because it did not fit into the criteria to declare it as the planet. The criteria, we will talk about that. Criteria कौन से हम लिख के लेंगे. But the major criteria that it did not fit is that it is basically did not clear its own surrounding. इसका मतलब क्या है? जैसे अर्थ है, अर्थ के आजू बाजू जो भी मटेरियल था in past, it has been removed. Either through accretion process, it got attached to earth or it lost into the space. Now the earth's surrounding is clear. But Pluto is having its own 5 moons and they are very near to it, and they are not, we can say that, tidally locked to it. The way moon is tidally locked to earth, they are not tidally locked to Pluto. This is important criteria basically to declare. We will talk about that. We will write down those criteria and the information that can be asked in prelims, although they have not asked anything related to the planets specifically. But the major aspect that we will learn here is the difference between terrestrial planets and Jovian planets. These four are called as terrestrial planets. These four are called as Jovian planets. Between them, between Mars and Jupiter, there is asteroid belt. So those located between Sun and asteroid belt, they are called as terrestrial planet. Terrestrial, that means Earth-like. That means Earth-like. They are made up of rocks and metals. They are made up of rocks and metals. They are smaller in size comparatively. Smaller in size comparatively. And that's why they have less gravity comparatively. Smaller in size and less gravity. And that's why they were not able to hold on to their primordial atmosphere, which was removed by strong solar winds. इसका जो ओरिजिनल एटमॉस्फेयर जो बना हुआ था वो रिमूव कर दिया है स्ट्रॉन्ग सोलर विंड्स ने. अभी जो एटमॉस्फेयर इनका बना हुआ है दैट इज द न्यू वन, लेटेस्ट वन. ओके, बट द प्राइमोर्डियल एटमॉस्फेयर जो ओरिजिनल है, प्राइमोर्डियल मींस एंशिएंट, ओरिजिनल, these planets are still having that kind of atmosphere and they are called as gas giants. Because the gas could not be, we can say that, cooled down to, let's say, what you can say that the dust particles, or we can say that the terrestrial material, ये जो है वैसे के वैसे रह गए. And the solar storms were not strong that farther distance to remove that gases. ये दोनों में डिफरेंस है. Okay, and why they are called as Jovian? Because of Jupiter-like. Jovian matlab Jupiter-like. Gas giants. Understood? All right. Thereafter, planets हो गया है. Then we'll talk about moon. What is moon? Moon is a satellite, the only satellite, right? The only natural satellite that we have for the earth. And our solar system has such 63 moons, or we can say that natural satellites. Okay, 63 natural satellites. Although still we are discovering, many of them are newly discovered. Okay, so moon is our only natural satellite. How it is formed? In geological past, one event that is called as big splat happened. A celestial body as large as 3 times the size of Mars collided with Earth immediately after formation of Earth, and huge mass of Earth got separated from the Earth and started rotating around the Earth. Okay. Over the period of time, it got the spherical shape. Over the period of time, ठीक है, जैसे ये रोटेट होता गया तो ये खुद के अराउंड भी, एक्सिस के अराउंड ये रिवॉल्व जैसे होते गया, तो उसके एक्सिस के अराउंड ये खुद रोटेट भी होने लगा. And once the body start rotating, generally it takes the spherical shape. Okay, so this is how the moon is formed. Now, we know that we see only one side of moon from the earth, है ना? पढ़ा है ये बचपन में. Why? The reason? They can ask question like this, assertion and reason. Statement 1, statement 2. Why? Because moon is tidally locked to earth. Now, what do you mean by this? Tidally locked. That means tidal force is basically called as the gravitational force. In geography, tidal force is called as gravitational force. So that means it is locked to Earth's gravitational force. And because of that, what we observe today is moon's rotation and revolution time period. Both are same. 29 and half, we can say that. Around 29 and half days. It is same as it is tidally locked. Okay, so how does it look like? Let's see on NASA's website itself directly. काफी अच्छे वीडियोस भी आपको दिखने को मिलेंगे उसमें, ठीक है। ये देखिए कैसे दिखता है, ये टाइडली लॉक्ड है, नॉट टाइडली लॉक्ड है। देखिए, ये देखिए सेम फेस दिख रहा है, इट इज रोटेटिंग एट द सेम टाइम। यू कैन सी अर्थ का रोटेशन देखिए एक दिन में फास्ट हो रहा है ना, 29 डेज तक ये एक कर रहा है, बट अर्थ इज रोटेटिंग 29 टाइम्स टिल दैट टाइम। जब ये नहीं होता है टाइडली लॉक, तो ये देखिए रैंडम मूवमेंट। So why this is happening? Little bit, let's say, deeper concept. This was not the case when moon was formed. Okay, it was not tidally locked, but over the period of time, the Earth's gravitational field actually made it tidally locked. How? Let's see. Look at this. The moon is stretched by the pull of Earth's gravity as it rotates, losing energy as it flex. ठीक है, पोस्ट टाइडल लॉकिंग, तो जब टाइडल लॉकिंग हो जाता है, as moon loses energy, it stabilizes and becomes tidally locked to Earth. That means the center of gravity is aligned with the axis that is passing through Earth's gravitational field. ये ऐसे हो नहीं सकता है, ठीक है, ये ऐसे ही रहेगा, जो सेंटर ऑफ ग्रेविटी हमेशा वो लाइन में रहेगा। अंडरस्टूड? ये समझ में आया ना एवरीवन? हाँ, व्हाई वी सी द फेस, सेम फेस ऑफ द मून एंड द अदर साइड इज कॉल्ड डार्कर साइड, डार्क साइड, ठीक है, जो कभी अर्थ से नहीं दिखने को मिलता है। ठीक है, जब ये मून तैयार हुआ था तो ऐसे घूमता था, ठीक है, मून बिकम्स टाइडली लॉक्ड ओवर द पीरियड। Now only one face, and you can see that when the earth is removed, समझो ये अर्थ नहीं है, तो आपको दिखाई देगा ये खुद भी रोटेट हो रहा है, ठीक है, बट वो रोटेशन एक पूरा कंप्लीट जो है, वो एक रिवोल्यूशन कंप्लीट होगा तभी एक रोटेशन कंप्लीट होगा, ऐसे दिखेगा। एंड दैट्स व्हाई द रोटेशन टाइम पीरियड एंड रिवोल्यूशन टाइम पीरियड इज सेम, टाइडली लॉ। This is the concept. Understood? Okay. Thereafter, evolution of the earth. In that we will learn three things: evolution of lithosphere, evolution of atmosphere, and evolution of biosphere or life। ठीक है, evolution of biosphere or life। So lithosphere, litho means rocks, or we can say that litho means plate, lithospheric plate जिसको बोलते हैं ना, earth. So जो earth का crust और ये solid part है ना जिसके ऊपर हम रहते हैं, basically it is the lithosphere जिसको बोलते हैं. Now how this lithosphere is formed, or we can say that the earth's interior is formed. It is formed through process of density differentiation. It is formed through process of density differentiation. So what happened? When the earth was formed, it was getting cooled, and when the earth was getting cooled, what happened is the outer surface was getting solidified. But there was the event called as big splat, through which moon was formed, and suddenly the earth was again warm, got heated because of that collision. And because of that, what happened is interior of the earth was very hot. Now the hot material, generally what happens in the liquid material, hot होगा तो generally हम बोलेंगे liquid या gaseous होगा. So what happens there? More dense material got started settling towards the center of the earth, and less dense material was moving away from the center towards the earth's surface. This is called as density differentiation. The more dense material are elements like iron, nickel, that got settled in the core near the center of the earth. The core is made up of Nife, that is nickel and ferrous. Nife layer आपको पढ़ाया गया होगा NCERT में, है ना? And then above that we have mantle, right? It is having density around 5 gram per cc, and the outermost is crust. It is having the density of 2.7 to 3 gram per cc. So we can see that density goes on decreasing as we move from center to the surface. It is called as density differentiation. This is how the lithosphere evolved. How atmosphere is formed? The 3 stages. First, removal of primordial atmosphere. Okay. Removal of primordial atmosphere. I told you every planet, when it was formed, it had its own atmosphere. When it was getting formed originally, that is called as primordial atmosphere. So Earth, when it was formed, it was having its own atmosphere, that is called as primordial atmosphere. The composition of that atmosphere was very different than the present day atmosphere. At that time, oxygen was very less, while carbon dioxide was very high. Nitrogen was there, and many other gases were there. But free oxygen was very less in amount in primordial atmosphere. So can you imagine the life that we have on the earth's surface could have been existed अगर वो पहले का atmosphere होता तो? हमें तो ऑक्सीजन चाहिए ना, right? So it was not there, but this was removed. How it was removed? Through strong solar winds, solar storms. ठीक है, जो अभी हमने पढ़ा, terrestrial planets, strong solar winds, they removed the primordial atmosphere. Second important process is called as degassing. So when the earth was formed and when this atmosphere was removed, simultaneously many gases and water vapor started coming out from the earth through extensive volcanic eruption. As the earth was getting cooled, कोई भी चीज cool होती है तो gases बाहर निकलते हैं ना उससे, ठीक है? तो in the same manner, the earth was getting cooled and many gases were coming out including water vapor. Now, when the water vapor got into the atmosphere, along with CO2, what happened in atmosphere? CO2 was getting added into the, let's say, atmosphere. Already it was there. And what happened is, now there was cloud formation. So extensive cloud formation happened, and that led to rainfall, precipitation, and the earth's surface started filling with the water. This is how the oceans got, the present day oceans were basically the depressions on the earth's surface. Imagine ocean में पानी नहीं है, तो क्या है वो फिर? Basically it is a depression on the earth's surface, craters, depressions. So over the period of time, the water started filling up and the oceans were formed. Now, after this degassing phenomenon, the modification of atmosphere, especially through photosynthesis, when the life was getting formed on the earth's surface, especially initially it was under the oceans. Life started in the oceans. So the green plants, algae, flooded the oceans and they started producing the oxygen. That oxygen got started flooding the atmosphere. Over the period of time, the amount of oxygen in the atmosphere increased. This is the modification of atmosphere. ठीक है, तो ऑक्सीजन जो है लार्जली फोटोसिंथेसिस के थ्रू आया है एटमॉस्फेयर. ठीक है, एंड वी आर रिमूविंग दैट फॉरेस्ट, रिमूविंग प्लांट्स. You can imagine what can be the future. Modification. Then how life began to form. So it is said that life began to form on the earth's surface in oceans around 3.7 billion years ago. ठीक है, and the scientists attribute to formation of life forming material as complex chemical reaction that led to formation of organic elements. ठीक है, just a moment. So complex chemical reaction that led to formation of organic molecules. We are made up of organic material, right? And that organic molecules were formed, and हम तो बोलते हैं भगवान की देन है और ये सब चीज जो है, ठीक है. Basically life was formed because of such complex chemical reaction, and such kind of, let's say, chemical compounds were formed which were able to replicate itself. This is how life was formed. पहले तो ये खुद को replicate करता था, and then the, let's say, animals, when they are formed, the reproduction, and there is evolution of life that happened on the earth's surface. Basically what happens in cell, it is the replication of that genetic material, and that genetic material is basically responsible for all the activities that we have. तो चलो बायोलॉजी में नहीं जाता है, ठीक है, लेट्स लिमिट टू ज्योग्राफी. इतना ही याद रखना है इस चीज को. फर्स्ट, द लाइफ बिगैन टू इवॉल्व इन द ओशंस, देन स्टार्टेड ऑन द लैंड. ठीक है, स्टार्टेड मूविंग ऑन द लैंड. ये भी आपको पता होना चाहिए. ठीक है, सो दिस वाज बेसिकली रिलेटेड टू ओरिजिन ऑफ अर्थ, फर्स्ट चैप्टर, राइट. Let's write down now. So theories explaining origin of the earth. Theories explaining origin of the earth. In that first, gaseous hypothesis. It was given by German philosopher Immanuel Kant. Immanuel Kant, Immanuel. Immanuel Kant in 1755. It was based on the application of Newton's law of gravitation. It was based on the application of Newton's law of gravitation and rotational motion. Rotational motion. According to him, initially there was slowly rotating cloud of gas. There was slowly rotating cloud of gas and matter consisting of very cold and motionless particles. Consisting of very cold and motionless particles. Next point. He assumed that mutual gravitational attractions of the particles forced them to start moving and colliding. The collisions led to friction and thus increase in temperature. The random collisions also gave the rotatory motion to the matter. The random collisions also gave the rotatory motion to the matter. at one point of time, its centrifugal force became more than centripetal force. Became more than centripetal force. सेंट्रीफ्यूगल हमने पढ़ा है ना 11th-12th स्टैंडर्ड में, फिजिक्स में नहीं पढ़ा है? 10th में भी नहीं था क्या? 11th-12th में था. See, centripetal force is basically the force when there is a rotational motion, the force towards the center of that rotation is called as centripetal force. Simply, when we tie a rock, ठीक है, छोटा सा पत्थर हम जब टाई करते हैं इससे स्ट्रिंग से और उसे घुमाते हैं, ठीक है, तो हमारे यहाँ पर जो स्ट्रिंग का स्ट्रेस होता है, बेसिकली दैट इज सेंट्रीपिटल फोर्स. अंडरस्टूड? व्हाट इज सेंट्रीफ्यूगल फोर्स? इट इज इन आउटवर्ड डायरेक्शन, एग्जैक्टली अपोजिट टू सेंट्रीपिटल. ओके, लाइक व्हेन वी सिट इन द मेरी गो राउंड में बैठे हैं आप अम्यूजमेंट पार्क में, तो उसकी जो चेयर्स होती है वो किस तरफ फेंकी जाती है? बाहर की तरफ फेंकी जाती है ना, ठीक है. जब ऐसे गोल गोल घूमता है तो ऐसे वो बाहर की तरफ फेंकी जाती है चेयर्स, है ना. तो वो किस वजह से? सेंट्रीफ्यूगल फोर्स. और आपने शायद वो इडली बनाने का जो मैटर होता है उसका मशीन देखा होगा, या वॉशिंग मशीन देखा होगा आपने. वॉशिंग मशीन में क्या होता है? गोल गोल घूमता है ना वो. सो व्हाट हैपेंस बिकॉज ऑफ दैट? Basically, it is moving that water, and water is moving through those clothes and removing those particles which are getting thrown outside. जो वॉशिंग मशीन का आउटसाइड जो होता है ना, वहां जाके वो गिरता है. क्लोथ्स तो अंदर रह जाते हैं, ठीक है. तो दिस इज हाउ इट इज वर्किंग, सेंट्रीफ्यूगल फोर्स, राइट? अंडरस्टूड? So when the centrifugal force is more than centripetal force, what will happen? The matter will try to throw out, it will try to expand. And what happens here also, when the gaseous cloud or nebula is moving in that fast manner, rotating in that fast manner, one matter of that particular nebula is removed from it. ठीक है, तो अगली लाइन वैसे लिखते हैं, yes, due to this an irregular ring got separated from the central part of nebula. An irregular ring got separated from nebula. Let's say this is a nebula, it is rotating a very fast manner. तो इससे क्या हो जाता है, एक रिंग जो है सेपरेट हो गया, क्योंकि बहुत फास्ट मूव कर रहा है, तो उसका मैटर जो है सेपरेट हो गया एक छोटा सा, ठीक है. नाउ नेक्स्ट पॉइंट, दिस सेम प्रोसेस रिपीटेड 9 times and 9 rings were separated from the nebula. The same process repeated 9 times and 9 rings got separated from nebula, while the remaining mass of nebula became the sun. The remaining mass of nebula became the sun. Next point, through the process of aggregation of matter, एग्रीगेशन ऑफ मैटर मतलब एक दूसरे के साथ अटैच हो रहा है. Through the process of aggregation of matter,
of those rings, 9 planets were formed. Nine planets were formed. And the remaining matter of the rings started rotating around the planets as their satellites. Now, second, nebular hypothesis. French mathematician Laplace proposed this hypothesis in 1796. It is considered as the modified version of gaseous hypothesis. Given by Kant. अब मॉडिफाई क्या किया है इन्होंने, देखिए, राइट डाउन. According to him, only one ring got separated from the nebula. Only one ring got separated from the nebula, and that one ring got later divided into 9 rings. तो देखिए यहां पर first Kant said that these rings were separated from the nebula 9 times, but Laplace said that only one ring got separated and that ring got divided into 9 rings. ये मॉडिफिकेशन है उसमें, ठीक है. Now, next point. All the material of each ring got condensed to form the planets. Now, third one, planetesimal hypothesis. It was proposed by Chamberlain and Moulton. In 1900. It explained the origin of Earth with the help of 2 heavenly bodies. Explained the origin of the Earth with the help of 2 heavenly bodies. Namely, Protosun and its companion star. Next point. The companion star passed very close to the protosun. The companion star passed very close to the protosun. Full stop. Due to massive gravitational force of companion star, large number of small particles got detached from the outer surface of the protosun. The outer surface of protosun. These small particles were called planetesimals. These small particles were called planetesimals. The larger planetesimals among them became the nuclei for the larger planetesimals among them became the nuclei for formation of future possible planets. Formation of future possible planets. Over the period of time, the remaining protosun became the present day sun. Over the period of time, the remaining protosun became the present day sun. Then we'll write down the modern theories. Modern theories, Big Bang theory. Big Bang theory. It is also called expanding universe hypothesis. Expanding universe hypothesis. Edwin Hubble, EDWIN, Edwin Hubble, HUBBLE. Edwin Hubble in 1920. Edwin Hubble in 1920 provided evidence that universe is expanding. Provided evidence that universe is expanding. That is, with the time, galaxies move further and further apart. With the time, the galaxies move further and further apart. The theory was propounded in 1950s and validated in 1972 and validated in 1972 through evidences collected from 1972, validated in 1972, through evidences collected from Cosmic Background Explorer, Cosmic Background Explorer in bracket COBE, COBE, capital COBE, bracket close, satellite. Satellite. According to the theory, development of the universe took place in following stages. According to the theory, the development of universe took place in following stages. First, in the beginning, all matter forming the universe, in the beginning, all matter forming the universe existed in one place in the form of tiny ball. Existed in one place in the form of tiny ball, in bracket singular atom, bracket close. This singularity had an unimaginably, this singularity had an unimaginably small volume, comma, infinite temperature and infinite density. Second, at the event of Big Bang, about 13.7 billion years ago, about 13.7 billion years ago, the tiny ball exploded violently. This led to huge expansion. This led to a huge expansion that even continues to the present day. Huge expansion that even continues to the present day. Third, as the universe expanded, some energy was converted into matter. And expansion slowed down with time. And the expansion slowed down with time. Within first 3 minutes from Big Bang event, within first 3 minutes from Big Bang event, the first atom began to form. The first atom began to form. Okay, so this is how the universe is formed. Now we'll write down about the galaxies. You can mention or write down about the galaxies. Galaxies, formation of galaxies. Galaxies are the clusters of large numbers of stars. Galaxies are clusters of large number of stars held together due to force of gravity. Held together due to force of gravity. Types of galaxies. Types of galaxies. First, spiral galaxy. These are huge and flattened disks of gas and dust. These are huge and flattened disks of gas and dust that have trailing arms. Trailing arms. इस तरीके से Milky Way galaxy is one such example. Milky Way galaxy is one such example. There is greater concentration of stars near their centers. Greater concentration of stars near their centers. Then second is elliptical galaxies. They are round or oval shaped clusters of stars that usually contain very old stars. Usually contains very old stars. They are the most abundant type of galaxies. Abundant type of galaxies in the universe. Unlike the other types of galaxies, no new stars are formed in the elliptical galaxies. No new stars are formed in elliptical galaxies. ठीक है? Then third is irregular galaxies. They do not have particular shape. They do not have particular shape and are often formed due to collision between two galaxies. Collision of They are often formed due to collision between two galaxies. Collision between two galaxies. They are characterized by presence of young stars. Young stars. They are also relatively rare and smaller than other types of galaxies. Relatively rare and smaller than other types of galaxies. Okay? So this was about the galaxies. Now let's talk about the stars. Now simply we can talk about the sun, our solar system. Our solar system. Yes, it was formed about 4.5 billion years ago. Formed about 4.5 billion years ago. It consists of sun. It consists of sun, 8 planets, 63 moons, and millions of asteroids and comets. Millions of asteroids and comets. Right. Then sun. We'll write down some things about the sun. It is composed mainly of hydrogen and helium. It is composed mainly of hydrogen and helium. It has the liquid inner core. It has liquid inner core surrounded by gaseous outer covering. Gaseous outer covering. You can show the diagram like this. At the center there is core. Then you can show the radiative zone. You can show the photosphere also and corona. Right? Then you can write down associated phenomenon with the sun. Associated phenomenon with the sun. In that, sunspots. these are the darker areas on the sun's surface. Sun's surface with heightened magnetic activities, with the heightened or excess magnetic activities, which does not allow the heat energy to reach on the sun's surface, which does not allow the heat energy to reach the sun's surface from the interior. From the interior. When there are more number of sunspots, when there are more number of sunspots on the sun's surface, less sunlight energy is received on the earth. Less sunlight energy is received on the earth. But strong solar storms can be experienced. But strong solar storms can be experienced. Now, second, solar cycle. Sun's magnetic field flips every 11 years. Flips every 11 years. It is called solar cycle. It is called solar cycle. Then third, solar storms. Emission of strong plasma or charged particles. Emission of strong plasma or charged particles from the sun are called solar storms. Are called solar storms. Strong solar storms can create geomagnetic storms on the earth. Can create geomagnetic storms on the earth and affect Earth's magnetic field. And affect Earth's magnetic field. Okay, in bracket you can write details about Earth's geomagnetism. Details about Earth's geomagnetism will be covered in chapter 3. ठीक है, तो आपको अभी उधर जाना है. ठीक है, so remaining part we will write tomorrow, not a problem. Tomorrow we will cover the interior of the earth, the structure, So you have to read the first and second chapter of NCERT, 11th standard NCERT, इंटीरियर ऑफ द अर्थ जो दिया हुआ है, ठीक है, आप पढ़ के आइए. आई डोंट नो हाउ यू आर गोइंग टू रीड. आई बिलीव कि आप डेली 4 सेशंस करने वाले हैं आज से. कैसे करोगे फिर? नहीं, फिर पढ़ोगे कब? 4 डेज के लिए है ना. वीकेंड में आप रिवाइज कर सकते हैं चीजों को. गुड, अच्छी बात है. सो एटलीस्ट वट एवर वी आर स्टडिंग डेली, ट्राई टू रिवाइज दैट ऑन डेली बेसिस. दैट इज गोइंग टू हेल्प यू. ठीक है? एनी डाउट यू हैव? ठीक है, आपको ऐसा लगता है सेशन बहुत फास्ट हो रहा है, डिक्टेशन बहुत फास्ट हो रहा है. डिक्टेशन तो फास्ट ही होगा. ठीक है, तो द रीजन इज कि हमें बहुत सारी चीजें कवर भी करनी है ना. 40 सेशंस में हमें पूरा ज्योग्राफी पढ़ना है, इंक्लूडिंग योर मेंस. तो इट रिक्वायर्स लॉट ऑफ टाइम. ठीक है, तो इसके लिए हम डिक्टेशन पार्ट जो है ज्यादा फास्ट करेंगे. फाइन, ओके, लेट अस स्टॉप. और एक चीज है इसमें, कल के लिए मैं आपको एक टास्क देता हूं. ठीक है, एक क्वेश्चन लिख के लीजिए. राइट ए एक्सप्लेनेटरी नोट ऑन बिग बैंग थियरी. राइट ए एक्सप्लेनेटरी नोट ऑन बिग बैंग थियरी. ठीक है, तो आप इस पे 50 वर्ड्स 100 वर्ड्स जितना हो सकता है आप लिख के लाइए. एक पेज लिख के लाइए इस पे. ठीक है, आप रिवाइज करोगे तो उसके बाद इसको 5 मिनट में लिखना है आंसर.